All right, guys, we're on day 5. So yesterday I gave you Penelope, about 101 proof. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a really good one. It's been coming out at a lot of bourbon nights around town. Everybody keeps bringing it because everyone's really enjoying it. I actually made a holiday bottle exchange calendar, and it was one of the bottles that someone put in there. So not only is it going in your sample pack, it went in our like heavy duty bourbon drinkers holiday calendar, which is really cool. That kind of tells you how good of a bottle a lot of people think it is. But today I'm taking you on a very different journey, okay? Taking you down the road of Peerless Single Barrels. Now, Peerless is a really, really fun company, okay? What Peerless does is they do what's called a sweet mash versus a sour mash. Now, normally when they're distilling, they make like this beer, okay? This distillate beer that has all the grains, and that's where they add the yeast, and it like starts off like cereal and then becomes very sour, okay? That sourness is then poured into the still, okay? Where basically they make moonshine and then they age it in a bourbon barrel. What they always do, or most most companies use sour mash, and what they do is they take a little bit of that funk that's at the bottom of that still, at the beer, and the leftover that doesn't go in the still, and they throw it into the next batch. And that keeps the pH the same. It gives the yeast kind of a head start, and it keeps kind of the same flavor profile, which is why if you go buy a Jack Daniels today, every Jack Daniels that's old number 7 tastes alike because they use the same pH. They use the same stuff every time. Peerless doesn't do that. Every time they make a new one, they completely rinse everything out, start with a fresh batch of water, yeast, sugar, and grain. Okay, no setback at all. There's nothing sour that they put into that beer. It starts sweet just like everything else. They distill it and they run it again. So you oftentimes get very unique flavor profiles from batch to batch to batch. Well, then comes in the single barrel, okay? They take that big batch and they make about 20-ish barrels out of that, okay? Each one of those barrels is going to interact with that recipe and that distillate a little different. So they do this thing where they'll taste them, and anything that tastes really, really unique becomes a single barrel, okay? So this is a single barrel that I got to pick out, okay? I took a group of us, there were 10 of us, that went back in September, on September 11th, as a matter of fact, and picked out this barrel. This one's gonna come in at 110.5, so it's the hottest thing you've drank so far, okay? It's 10 proof higher than yesterday's, okay? But what you're gonna find on this one is it's gonna have a lot more flavor. Like, it's gonna be packed with flavor. I encourage you to pour it, let it set for a minute, okay? Let it kind of air out a minute. Let it oxidize a little bit. And you're gonna notice then from that first sip to when you let it set for about 5 to 10 minutes, it's gonna change entirely. It's gonna become a lot more sweet. It's gonna become a lot more mapley and a lot more of that cola kind of finish. It's gonna be really good, I promise you. I picked this one out, all right? I have every single bottle of this that was made, okay? So you will not find this one in a shelf. If you really want one, message me, I might have a couple. But right now, I'm the only one that has this exact single barrel. You can find single barrels around, but they're all gonna be very different. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a lot of Peerless up here and a lot of different single barrels in there. And they all taste entirely different, which is why I have so many, okay? We find them, we like them, we buy them. This one's called the Peerless Legacy Selection, okay? And I don't know if you can see that label, but the label says selected by Legacy 9/11/24. The reason we picked that label was because one of the guys in on the pick, his dad actually was running the response center for all the firefighters on September 11th. So we thought, you know, that's a kind of a neat homage. How many times you pick something out on September 11th? But one of our favorites, we're crushing these bottles at Bourbon Nights. We're having such a fun time with this particular one. Like I said, 110.5 proof. The price on this, all right, is $110, all right? At Peerless, they charge usually $125 to $135 for single barrels. We got a discount because we bought the entire barrel, okay? I think this one yielded 180 bottles, okay? So yeah, this one was a lot of fun to pick. We really enjoyed it. I hope you guys do too, all right? Cheers.